Good afternoon and welcome to Mustang Field. My name is Mark Bargy, the voice of the Mustangs. Neil Fisher is next to me, longtime Apopka sports journalist, and we are here to take you through Wednesday afternoon softball action. We apologize for the delay getting the broadcast going. We had our teacher appreciation festivities going on right before the game started and had to get all of the gear set up. So we are in the bottom of the first inning. You missed the first half inning of Freedom basketball, as well as one inside the park home run that came from Camila Delgado just moments ago. So this is the second batter of the Mustangs lineup. This is third batter, number 21, Ariana Garcia.
So that means the score is 4-1 right now, as you just heard Mark Barchi say. We are in the bottom of the first with Garcia, who's also pitching at the plate. So Garcia batting .545 on the season with 6 RBIs, looking for her first home run of the season. Both these teams in need of a win. Wekiva a little bit better at 1-6. Freedom still looking for its first victory of the season against 10 defeats. And actually it's 1-5 for Wekiva. On the mound for Freedom, is Allison Smith, as she gets that second strikeout. Second out of the inning, down on strikes is Garcia, and that'll bring up Thomas, the center fielder.
Allison Smith records the swinging strikeout, 2 away from the Mustangs. Next to the plate for the Mustangs will be center fielder number 32, Takesha Thomas.
So Smith, the Freedom pitcher, as she delivers ball one. 4.20 ERA. This is their 11th appearance of the season. 41 2/3 innings pitch. 44 walks and 82 strikeouts. At the other side of this contest, the individual matchup is Thomas, and she comes in batting .154, still looking for her first RBI and home run. 4-1 your score in the bottom of the first inning. Freedom with the lead. They are in the field, also looking for their first win of the season as well. Wekiva's lone victory coming against Edgewater. That was the second game of the season. They're also the home team tonight. That's why we're in the bottom of the first. As always, thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoy the broadcast as much as we do bringing it to you. And that ball tipped off. Got just a piece of it. Thomas staying alive with the 2-2 count. The 1-2 count. Here in the bottom of the first inning. Beautiful day once again here at Mustang Field, right next to 429. The 429, temperature about 80 degrees. Not a cloud in the sky for this game on a Wednesday afternoon, as the delivery from Smith connect. And that's going to drop in. As a matter of fact, it's going to get all the way to the wall. Well, not quite to the wall. Rounding second is Thomas. The throw over and no slide, and she is in safely with the 2-strike triple.
Takesha Thomas earns a triple into left center field. She's safe at third. Next to the plate for the Mustangs, catcher number 23, Macy Fix.
So Fix steps up to the plate with a chance to cut the lead. It's 4-1 in favor of Freedom. Fix batting .222 for the season, 3 RBIs, no home runs. As she looks at ball one. So your defensive lineup for Freedom, as that'll even the count at 1-1. Nice pitch there from Smith, right across the plate. Hands behind the plate. Brash at first. Barnes at second. In the hole on the left side, Ramos. A hot corner is Miriex. And your outfield, as the count goes 1-2, left to right, Clark, Bartlinski, and Estrada. 4-1 in the bottom of the first inning. Wekiva giving up 4 runs to Freedom in the top of the first. Ooh, just a bit outside. That was close, but Fix laying off. Smith trying to get Fix to chase. That's Macy Fix, and now she looks at strike 3, and that'll bring the first inning to a close with 2 strikeouts from Smith. 4-1 your score at the end of the first inning from Mustang Field.
Allison Smith records the strikeouts to take us to the end of the first inning. In that half inning, 1 run scored on 2 hits with no Patriot errors, leaving 1 on base. The score 4-1 at the end of 1 inning. Back with more from Mustang Field in a moment. As we enter the top of the second inning, Caitlin Brash is safe at first. Next at the plate, shortstop number 8, Camila Ramos. Camila Ramos singles to center field. Next at the plate will be pitcher number 11, Allison Smith. Two RBI double for Smith. I'll put 6 runs total on the board for Freedom. Next at the plate, catcher number 28, Ivana Hantz.
So a pair of errors begin the top of the second inning, and that's led to trouble for Wekiva, as you just heard Mark say.
Well, it was 1 error, 1 single.
Excuse me, sorry, 1 error, 1 single. In either case, as you just heard Mark say, is now 6-1 as Hantz slaps that ball through the middle just beyond the reach of Delgado, the shortstop, and that'll bring in the 7th run in the form of Smith. And stopping at third is Hantz on the single, followed by the error. So set the defensive lineup here. We are in the bottom of the top of the second inning. Mustang Field, Wekiva the home team.
Next at the plate, center fielder number 17, Gemma Bartlinski.
Bartlinski, 1 for 1 today. Got a single in that first inning. But your defensive lineup, that's Wekiva's defensive lineup since we were not on the air, as the count now goes to 1-1. Fixed behind the plate, McCoy at first. In the hole, on the right side is Kimber. Delgado in the shortstop. At the hot corners, Varala. And left to right in the outfield, Forrestel, Thomas, and Joseph. And the count now 1-2 to Bartlinski. Freedom still nobody out. Bottom of the top of the second inning. They have now taken a 7-1 lead.
And Neil, I just received clarification on what happened in the top of the first inning, which our viewers did not see because we didn't have the equipment set up yet. But the first half inning ended suddenly without explanation, and I now understand why. The batter in the 9th position of the lineup, number 22, Lily Clark, has an injury that is preventing her from being able to bat. Freedom only has 9 players on their team. They don't have any subs. And so whenever her at-bat comes up, they simply record an out. And there were already 2 outs on the board, and that's why there were suddenly 3.
Okay.
So we have an uncaught third strike, and that play is made. Play is made at first on the uncaught third strike to put an away for Freedom. However, it will bring home number 28, Ivana Hantz. Next at the plate will be third baseman, number 27, Jalen Marriott.
And that out is the first of the second inning for Freedom. Now the 8-1 lead. As you just heard Mark say, Marriott steps in. And she is batting 118 as she slaps that ball down to the shortstop, scooped up by Delgado. The quick throw to first. Nicely
done. Play is made from Camila Delgado to Julia McCoy for the 6-3 ground out, 2 away for the Patriots. Excuse me, that is the third out. He explained it to me, now I get it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I saw like a little bit bewildered there. Like, how did we?
Yeah, no, it's not the end of it. It's just, that's an out.
Thank you. Back with more from Mustang Field in a moment. As we enter the bottom of the second inning, the Mustangs will begin in the sixth position of their lineup with left fielder number 12, Kyla Florestil.
So Florestil will step into the batter's box with her team Wekiva facing a 7-1 deficit as Smith delivers a bit outside and high. Florestil still looking for her first hit of the game as she goes 1-1. Looking for her first hit of the season. And make that 2-1. That'll take the count to 3-1. Smith on the mound for Freedom. She started the game. Gave up 1 run in that first inning. It was an inside the park home run to Delgado. Got the 3 other outs though to keep her team up 4-1. It's now 7-1 as we go full. A mighty swing for Florestil. She can't catch up on the high heat. So the full count delivery. And that'll be ball 4. As Florestil leads off the bottom of the second with the walk. Wekiva now 2 for 2, getting its leadoff hitter on, trailing 7-1. Now batting, number 2, first baseman, Jailia McCoy. So McCoy at the plate now with a chance to advance the runner. They got the leadoff hitter on. That's Wekiva as the pitch is dropped. It'll be a strike though. One 0 count. At that 1-1. Again, Smith has some heat on that ball. She's gotten a couple batters in this inning to swing. And miss. That's 1-2 count. Oh, excuse me, that's strike 3. The freeze on McCoy. No, excuse me, it's McCoy's still at the plate now. No, that's Disdain. Okay. At the plate, number 34, Disdain. So Disdain looking at an 0-1 count now. Make that 0-2. Leadoff hitter Florestil drew a walk. She's still at first base. As Smith looking to get that second out. That would certainly help tremendously. She'll have to wait another pitch. As that ball contact, staying alive is Destine. Destine, the designated player. She's looking for her first hit, 4th at-bat of the season. The delivery from Smith, low, gets away from Hance, on the move is Florestel, and she'll take second base without a throw. So now a runner in scoring position with 1 out for Wekiva in the bottom of the second inning. Wekiva trailing 7-1 against Freedom, who's looking for their first win of the season. Wekiva coming in 1-5. And make that 2-2. Ball low. Nice job that time by Hance to smother that ball, preventing Florestel from getting over to third base. And we're going to go full. Smith trying to get Destine to chase that outside pitch. Destine would have none of it. And actually that's ball 4. So now runners at first and second. Stepping into the batter's box, number 22, third baseman, Emily Varela. So Varela, first and second, 1 out. We're in the bottom of the second, 7-1 lead for Freedom. The visiting team on the mound in the field as strike 1 delivered from Smith. Varela also looking for her first hit of the season. This is her 5th at-bat, and she's now looking at a 1-1 count. 7-1. Wekiva with the chance to cut into that lead. And nothing happening there. Low and outside. 2-1 count. And that'll even the count at 2-2. A mighty swing. Destine taking the hack. Varela taking the hat. Sixth game of the season for Varela. As she'll go down on strikes. Smith whipping that fastball by her for the second out of the inning. Varela retired on the swinging strikeout, and that brings the top of the lineup back to the batter's box. That's number 5, shortstop, Camelia Delgados. So Delgado, the last line, last hope for Wekiva now. In the bottom of the second inning, runners at first and second. Delgado accounting for Wekiva's only run as she looks at ball 1. Leading off the Wekiva attack with an inside the park job. 7-1. Freedom with the lead. They're in the field right now. That's Smith on the mound. And another hard hit ball by Delgado, but it goes into foul territory. Count now 1-1. Everybody back to your assigned positions. This time the ball is going to drop fair. Delgado 2 for 2, rounds first. And Wekiva cuts the lead to 7-2. As that's Florestel crossing home plate. And Delgado delivers as the last hope for Wekiva in the bottom of the second inning. 2 for 2 now with 2 RBIs. And that'll bring to the plate Kimber, the second baseman. Stepping into batter's box, number 1, second baseman, Elijah Kimber. And Kimber takes a hack at her first offering from Smith. 0-1 count. Kimber 0 for 1 today. Runners at first, second, and third. So an opportunity to further cut into that lead for Kimber and Wekiva, but unable to connect there. Again, the heat from Smith. Wekiva batter unable to catch up, and it's a 1-2 count now. So, and excuse me, it's an 8-1 score as the count now goes to 2-1. Freedom scoring 4 runs in both of the innings. We're in the bottom of the second, 8-1 lead. Tip ball, poked into foul territory behind home plate. Keeps the count at 2-2. Wekiva coming in 1-5, certainly could get a win, as could Freedom. They're 0-10. That ball does get by Hance, and that's also a ball. So that'll take the count to 3-2. Runners should be on the move in the bottom of the second inning. Those runners at second and third. Wekiva trailing 8-2. And the delivery smacked right down into the batter's box, and we'll do this all over again. Everybody back to your assigned positions. Count remains full. Runners remain at second and third with 2 outs. In the bottom of the second inning, Wekiva trailing 8-1, so they certainly could use some runs. And strike 3 on Kimber. Stood there like the house on the side of the road and took the freeze, so that'll bring the inning to an end. Wekiva does cut into the lead, making it 8-2. Delgado the catalyst with the double, but they leave 2 runners on base as we head to the top of the third.
That takes us to the end of the second inning. 1 run scored on 1 hit with no Patriot errors, leaving 2 on base, and the score now stands 8-2 at the end of 2 innings. Back with more in a moment. As we enter the top of the third inning, the Patriots begin in the 7th position of their lineup with right fielder number 15, Genesis Estrada.
This is 8-2, the score as we begin the bottom of the top of the third inning, and that is Estrada at the line, at the box. Garcia delivers ball 1. Estrada 0 for 1, reached base on an error in the first inning though. Estrada batting 167 on the season. Coming into this game now a 2-0 count. Excuse me, 1-1 count.
That'll make it 2-1 as the ball delivered outside.
Yeah, this is literally the same score table, same software, everything. It's just I reconfigured the scoreboard.
Garcia delivers in the dirt. Estrada will have none of it, and now she's looking at a 3-1 count leading off the top of the third inning. Freedom up 8-2, looking for their first win of the season. That'll take the count to 3-2.
And the count for a minute. I'm going to set up the last count.
So the full count on the leadoff hitter in the top of the third inning with Freedom holding the 8-1 lead. Garcia digs in, gets her sign, and the leadoff batter reaches base for the third consecutive inning. 3 for 3 now for Freedom in that department. And that will bring the number 8 hitter. Stepping into the batter's box, number 15, right fielder, Genesis Estrada. So, Estrada. Correction, that's number 10, second baseman Elaine Barnes at the plate. So Barnes stepping in. She's 0 for 1 today. Runner at first, nobody out. Estrada drawing a walk off the inning. In the top of the third inning, that's Garcia on the mound. Both starters, Smith for Freedom. Still in the game as the high heat gets by Barnes, unable to catch up. And that'll even the count at 2-2. Mustang field to sight on this Wednesday evening. And that'll be strike 3. Barnes caught looking on the freeze. That'll be the first out, and now Clark will be the second out as she is unable to bat. Freedom now returns to the top of the lineup with the first baseman, 00, Kaylin Brash. Brash takes ball 1. So after the leadoff walk, Garcia gets the strikeout and then a bit of luck with Clark unable to bat. So it looks like she can get out of this inning without any runs scored, although now Estrada easily into second base, no throw. And the 2-0 count. Brash, the leadoff hitter, who's 1 for 2. Started the game off reaching base on an error, and then singled in the second inning, also scored. So she's 2 for 2 in plate appearances reaching base as she now takes ball 3. And on her horse once again, it's Estrada. She's over at third base. Couple of stolen bases with 2 outs. So again, simple situation. You can get this third out if you're Garcia, or you could give up another run. And that ball sliced into right field and it drops in, gets by the outfield. That's Thomas in center field. And Brash is going to get all the way over to third base on a single and an error. She does get credit for an RBI. The score now 9-1. Crossing home plate, Estrada makes the score 9-1. And that'll bring to the plate the shortstop, number 8, Camelia Ramos. So Freedom looking for its first win of the season. Certainly has positioned itself to do that, as they now have the 9-2 lead. top of the third inning, 2 outs, runner around third for Freedom with that 9-2 lead. As Ramos looks at strike one. So I'm Neil Fisher. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon from Mustang Field in southeast Apopka on the right, right next to the 429, and that's going to make it 10-1, 10-2. As Brash crosses home plate on the wild pitch. Brash crosses home plate, bringing the score to 10-2 in favor of Freedom. And that'll also even the count at 1-1, make that 2-1. Garcia unable to get Ramos to chase the high and inside pitch. 4 runs scored by Freedom in that first inning. 4 in the second, and now 2 in the third. As the count now at 3-1, and Garcia in danger of walking Ramos, who has also reached base twice today. That'll even the count, take the count to 3-2. Ramos reaching on a walk in the first inning and an error in the second inning. Scored both times. Strike 3. As Ramos fooled by the pitch, and that brings the top of the third inning to an end. As the score 10-2, 2 more runs taken on the board by Freedom. It's 9-2, okay. They only scored 1. And we begin the bottom of the third inning with Freedom leading by a 9-2 score. At the plate is Garcia. What? So Garcia at the plate. 0 for 1, striking out in their only at bat of the first inning. It's now a 1-2 count.
Nothing I can do. All right, you're back.
Bottom of the third inning, Wekiva Wekiva trailing by bottom of the third inning. Wekiva trailing by a 9-2 score. Runner at second base with nobody out. Garcia reaching base with the walk to lead off the inning. Now a pinch runner in, and that's Thomas at the plate as she.
Play is made on the throw from Allison Smith to Kaylin Brash for the 1-3 ground out. That'll put one away for the Mustangs. However, it does advance the runner to third. Next at the plate for Wekiva, catcher number 23, Macy Fix.
So Fix comes up with one strikeout and one plate appearance back in the first inning. And she rips that ball through the hole on the right side, and that'll cut the lead to 9-3. As Tyler, the pinch runner, comes in. And now Fix 1 for 2 with an RBI. So Wekiva taking advantage, turning the leadoff hitter reaching base into a run. And also do want to thank you for sticking around. We've had some technical difficulties with our equipment throughout this broadcast. Certainly, Mark, it's been one of those days, both on the field and here in the booth, as now starting to see some life from Wekiva in terms of putting some multiple runners together.
Kyla Florestal will advance, or no, will remain at the plate, and we'll have a runner at second. And we'll pause for a conference.
So, Mark, I guess we jumped the gun a bit too soon there. But the runner does remain at second. Wekiva with an opportunity to further cut into that lead. It was 9-2 when the inning began, now 9-3. But again, we do thank you for sticking around and your patience. It's just been one of those days on the field as well as in the booth. So it's Florestal, the batter. She does not have an official at-bat as she now looks at ball. There's that strike one. It's ball one, ball one. She walked her only time at bat. That was the last inning, the second, and scored the first run. Now a 1-1 count, unable to catch up on that heat from Smith. Smith, the starter, and she's shown a half a dozen times. She's got some speed on that fastball as there's strike three. The runner goes down to second. She'll take third on the air as well. 2 outs though. Florestal swinging and unable to catch up with the high heat for a second consecutive at-bat. That'll bring McCoy up.
Smith records the strikeout. Next to the plate for the Mustangs will be first baseman number 22, Jalea McCoy.
So Freedom.
That's for 1 or 2 out now.
Looking for its first victory of the season against 10 losses as McCoy, who's 0 for 1, struck out her only at bat, which was the last inning, was in a much better position when this inning started. It was 9-2. Still, though, a 9-3 lead, certainly in a good position, even if not as good a position, as the count now goes 1-1 to get that first win. Wekiva looking to up its record from 1-5. A delivery from Smith, and there was no heat on that. The curveball outside just flat out fooled McCoy. And that'll take the count to 1-2. 1 strike away from getting out of this inning with minimal damage from the Freedom viewpoint. And there it is. Got to throw it down to first, and that's not going to be an out. The strikeout counts, but the error, the drop third ball, allows the inning to continue and cuts the lead to 9-4 as Fix crosses home plate.
Fix is safe at home on the uncaught third strike. The out does stand, though, for 2 away for the Mustangs. Next at the plate for Wekiva, DP number 34, Leah Destine.
Destine stepping in now with a runner at first with 2 outs. Inning continues, as you heard Mark, our public address announcer, describe the previous play. Due to the drop third strike, 1-1 count now. That ball tapped into foul territory. And Mark, gotta say, on a day where it's just been one of those days, that play with the drop third strike and McCoy reaching base and the run scoring seems to sum up the day, as there's strike 3. So 3 strikeouts, 4
Strikeout
outs.
for Smith will take us to the end of the 3rd inning. In that half inning, 2 runs scored on 1 hit with 2 Patriot errors, leaving 1 on base, and the score now stands 9-4 at the end of 3 innings. Back with more in a moment.
Is it 2 in the 3rd? Is that what it was? 4, 4, and 2? Okay.
So I was right.
I'm not sure the score. You gotta talk to the score. I'll find out at the end of this inning. As long if they get 9 runs, well, it's got to be 15 innings. So at the end of this, I'll talk.
And we begin the top of the 4th inning with Freedom holding a 10-4 lead. At the plate, number 11, the pitcher, Smith. And that 10-4 lead certainly puts Freedom in position to gain their first win of the season. Wekiva 1-5. Now the 2-0 count on Smith, who is 2 for 2, reaching base in a plate appearance. She had a double and 2 RBIs, and she's going to add to that. No, yes, ball streaks by the left fielder, Florestel. She made an attempt at that, couldn't come up with it, and into third she slid. Kind of a half-hearted slide, but nonetheless, Smith at third base with the triple, leading off the top of the 4th inning. And now 4 for 4 as well for Freedom in terms of their leadoff hitter reaching base. Smith with the leadoff triple in the top of the 4th inning. That brings to the plate the catcher, number 28, Hance. So Freedom scoring 4 runs in the first, 4 runs in the second, 2 in the third, and they continue their offensive attack at Mustang Field as we got a timeout now. And pitchers congregated at the pitcher's mound. Fix a late arrival to that, as well as McCoy. Hance, who will step into the plate momentarily, 2 for 2 today, a pair of singles. Got an RBI as well as scoring both times. And now everybody back to your assigned positions. Once again, thank you for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon from Mustang Field. The hometown team has some work to do, trailing 10-4 in the top of the 4th inning. Their first task, though, is to get out of this inning, keeping that lead at 6, and that's not going to happen as Fix unable to catch that wild pitch. And that'll bring the score to 11-4. Smith crosses home plate, upping the lead to 11-4. So the 2-0 count now, make that 2-1. Ball slapped into foul territory by Hance. Two-one delivery from Garcia has gone the distance. 3 innings pitched. And that'll take the count to 3-1. We are in the top of the 4th inning. That ball lifted into foul territory, giving chase, and recording the out is McCoy. Nice job by the first baseman. McCoy records the first out of the inning on the soft fly ball in foul territory. Now at the plate, number 17, center fielder, Bartlitsky. So Bartlitsky steps in. She's 1 for 2 today. A single in the first, struck out in her last at bat. And the single. So Bartlitsky reaches base with 1 out. Next in the batting lineup for Freedom is the third baseman, number 27, Mariax. Mariax looking for her first hit of the day. 0 for 2, reached base on an error in the first inning, grounded out to the shortstop Delgado in her last at bat. And she looks at ball 1 as that was high. 11-4, the score from Mustang Field. Couldn't ask for a better day to play softball, or any sport for that matter outside. Not a cloud in the sky. As the count now 1-1. Mariax taking all the way and down to second base without a throw is Bartlitsky. So chance for Freedom to continue to up the lead. 11-4 now, they've led throughout. The first batter reaching base, and to use the old cliche, as there's strike 2, 1-2 count. Freedom has not looked back. 1-2 count now on Mariax, the right-hander, looking for her first hit of the game. And we'll do it all over again as that ball's tipped. So count remains 1-2, 1 out, runner at second base. And there's strike 3, but the ball dropped. And easy pickings to get over to first base for Mariax. And now coming home as well is Bartlitsky on the throwing error. That ups the lead. To 12-4. Third strike is dropped, which allows Bartlitsky to score, upping the lead to 12-4. And at the plate, number 15, right fielder, Estrada. And that'll take the count to 2-0. Garcia unable to catch that outside part of the plate. that'll take the count to 3-0. Easy advancement down to second base for Estrada, who reached base on a drop third strike. Excuse me, Mariak's at second base. She reached base on a drop third strike. Three-one count now. Three-one delivery from Garcia. Slapped, scooped up by Delgado on the move, but can't hold it at first base is McCoy. And now runners at first and third, still only one out. Estrada reaches first base on the air. That brings up to the plate second baseman, number 10, Barnes. So Barnes steps into the plate. She's looking for her first hit of the day. Chance to up that lead as she looks at ball one. 12-4 lead, runners at first and third with only one out. So certainly the advantages favor Freedom right now. Hit the ball to the right side of the infield or a semi-deep fly ball, and you got yourself another run in as a count 2-0, high and outside. Freedom has led from the start. The leadoff hitter Brash reaching base on an error, and they have not looked back as that ball lifted into foul territory. And that'll cut the count in half at 2-1.
Oh, no, you've got the giant scoreboard.
Huh?
You have the giant scoreboard up there instead of all that. You had this up there instead of this.
Oh.
The big.
Oh, the
finish
broadcast.
Yeah.
Oh.
Watch your program.
That the ball over there?
So got a short stoppage of play here where the ball's being retrieved. 2-1 count now on Barnes. First and third, one out, bottom of the fourth, top of the fourth inning, 12-4 lead for Freedom, and that'll take the count to 3-1. Delivery from Garcia, that'll be ball four. And Fix doing a nice job keeping in front of that ball. Got away from her, but no advancement from the third runner at third, Mariax. And bases are now loaded with one out and a 12-4 lead for Freedom.
Now at the plate with runners at 1, 2, and 3. Freedom will take their second out for Lily Clark, who is unable to bat today, and return to the top of the lineup with first baseman number 00, Kaylin Brash.
Hey, Mark, you said it before I had a chance. I was going to say there was one out when that walk, but now it's two outs. Chance to get out of the inning. Nice job by Delgado. Goes down to her knee, scoops it up, and touches third base. The easiest way to get out of the inning.
Delgado makes the force out at third, and that will strand 3 runners on base as Freedom scores 2 in the top of the fourth inning. Off of 2 hits. With no Mustang errors, again leaving 3, one Mustang error, leaving 3 on base, and the score stands 12-4 at the end of 4 here at Mustang Field. Back with more in a moment.
Actually, it was 2 errors. Those who dropped third strikes.
Okay, well, all right. Well, a drop third strike is not necessarily an error unless you fail to make the throw.
Well, so like, she reached base because of the drop.
Space 00, the leadoff is now the catcher. The catcher 28 is now playing first. But no second.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Who's keeping score?
The lady in the blue shirt, Anna.
Who's up next for Wekiva?
Varela.
We'll all confirm.
What do I have?
Sir, we'll all confirm 12-4.
It is.
Okay, good. Thank
So
you.
I was right. I was right twice. Might not be able to keep up with the counts or what was showing on the broadcast, but I had the score.
Which is still Smith. What do you have for hits and errors?
Let's see, seven hits for Freedom. No errors.
As we enter the bottom of the fourth inning, the Mustangs will begin in the ninth position of their lineup with third baseman number 22, Emily Varela.
So
No errors for Freedom?
One error for Freedom. Early drop third strike. Wekiva has 4 hits and 6 errors. So that's behind. Number 1, number 2, I just can't keep up with all of them. So due up this inning, Varela, Delgado, and Kimber. Varela starts off with a 1-1 count. 12-4 the score. Freedom's been in the lead from the beginning.
That was high, swung at it anyway, and
Varela goes down on strikes. A bit of an odd-looking play.
play is made at first on the uncaught third strike. One away for the Mustangs. Next up, Wekiva returns to the top of the lineup with shortstop number 5, Camilla Delgado.
Delgado, the one, certainly the standout of this game, 2 for 2, 6 total bases, a home run and a double, 2 RBIs. She scored twice, so she's knocked in 2 of the runs and scored the other 2 herself. As now the sun descends beyond center field next to the 429 in southeast Apopka. A 1-0 count. Delgado also the best player this season as well, coming in with a .727 batting average. And she'll be looking at a 1-2 count. 8 for 11. 9 RBIs, a pair of home runs, a double and a triple. Back into the batter's box, and this one ripped through the right side to the right of Barnes, and Delgado continues her torrid hitting as she's going to go into third, and she's going to come home as the ball gets away from Ramos. So now 2 home runs for Delgado.
Camilla Delgado with her second inside the park home run of the night.
That'll cut the lead to 12-5, so still some life in the Mustang bats.
Next to the plate for the Mustangs, the second baseman number 1, Alasia Kimber.
So Delgado certainly continues, as I said, her torrid hitting. 3 for 3 now, 2 home runs, a double. That's 10 total bases, 3 RBIs, 3 runs scored. And now she'll leave it up to Kimber to keep the momentum going. Kimber looking for her first hit of the game, 0 for 2. So you could certainly look at this as the Delgado show and Smith show. As the first pitch comes into Kimber, that'll be ball 1. Low at the knees. Take Delgado out of the lineup, and it's a 12-1 lead for Freedom. Smith cruising as she is now behind 2-0. So Freedom continues, despite And the 2-1, 3-0 count, despite Delgado's strong hitting, still good position for Freedom to get their first win of the season. Up by 7 in the 4th inning. And now the walk to Kimber reaches base for the first time, and that'll bring up
Elijah Kimber
Garcia.
walks to first. Next at the plate for the Mustangs, pitcher number 21, Ariana Garcia.
Garcia 0 for 1, struck out in the 1st inning, walked and scored a run in the 3rd inning. So one thing that Smith has done very well, she's a starter other than Delgado, as I mentioned. As that'll even the count at 1-1. She's done a good job of minimizing the damage when giving up walks. She's given up 3 walks. Two of those batters who have walked, and there's a into the corner, and this is the first time we've seen a ball hit hard by anyone other than Delgado. Up to the wall, rounding third is Kimber. She gets the sign to come home. She'll score as the ball comes into the shortstop. Ramos.
RBI double for Ariana Garcia. Picks up 2 bases for herself and scores Elijah Kimber to put 6 runs on the board for the Mustangs. And as a courtesy runner at second base is number 3, Karia Tyler. Next at the plate for the Mustangs, center fielder number 32, Tyquisha Thomas.
Thomas stepping into the plate, 1 for 2 tonight with a triple in the 1st inning. And that'll advance. Nope, will not. Hance gets back quickly, picked it up. And so going back to my point, Mark, even though 2 of the 3 batters, well actually now it's 3 of the 4 batters, well, let me start by saying this. Until that walk to Kimber, who just scored, 2 of the 3 batters had scored, that had drawn walks, as the count now goes 1-2. However, Smith did a good job in terms of exchanging outs for the runners that had walked, advancing on the next batter. Ball hits sharply, but right to Ramos. Goes over to third, and the tag made by Mariax, so that'll be 2 outs.
Ramos on the threat of Mariax for the tag out at third, 2 away for the Mustangs. Safe at first, though, next to the plate for Wekiva will be catcher number 23, Macy Fix.
Fix stepping into the batter's box. She's 1 for 2, struck out, singled in the 3rd. Got an RBI and scored a run herself. Wekiva putting up 2 in the bottom of the 4th as ball 1 taken by Fix, cutting the lead to 12-6, and the battle between 2 teams in desperate need of a win. As we move into the middle 3rd of the season, that ball hits sharply as well. Brash snags it though and steps over to first for the 3rd out. So Wekiva.
Brash with the unassisted putout at first will take us to the middle of the 4th inning. In that half inning, 2 runs scored on 2 hits with no Patriot errors, leaving 1 on base. And the score now stands 12-6 at the end of 4 innings. Back with more from Mustang Field after the break. Please note that you may hear silence during the break. Do not adjust your television set. That is just because we have to mute it so that we don't get the copyrighted music from the ballpark onto our live stream. We'll be back. As we enter the top of the 5th inning, the Patriots will begin in the second position of their lineup with shortstop number 8, Camila Ramos.
And the Patriots also begin the inning with a 12-6 lead in ball 1 to Ramos, who has yet to get her first hit, but she has reached base twice, a walk and an error. Scored both times, then struck out her last at bat. Now a 1-1 count. Freedom has scored in every inning, 4 in the first, 4 in the second, 2 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. Now beginning the top of the 5th inning, count goes to 1-1.
1-2 now.
Excuse me, 1-2.
She tipped the last one.
As the sun almost descending completely behind center field from Mustang Field, as the count now 2-2. Right next to the 429 on the southeast side, that's State Route 429. And we'll see a full count leading off the top of the 5th inning. Freedom has also gotten their leadoff hitter on base in each of the 4 innings. And the full count pitch from Garcia, who's gone the distance. That ball slapped into center field. It's going to get by Thomas as well. Rounding first, on her way to second is Kemper. And now she's going to go for third, and she'll get in there without the need for a slide, as Thomas did not really throw that ball quickly or with much oomph. Again, that's a youth mistake.
Camila Ramos gets 3 bases out of her hit into center field. Next to the plate will be pitcher number 11, Allison Smith.
Smith stepping in. She's 3 for 3 today. Excuse me, 2 for 2, but she's reached base all 3 times. A walk, a double, and a triple, 2 RBIs. And now she's going to drop the bunt. Nice job by Garcia to pick it up. A wild throw to first. And that'll allow the 13th run, and now a 7-run lead for Freedom with Ramos crossing home plate.
The bunt is dropped down the first baseline. And that will score the run as Ramos comes home. Next at the plate, catcher number 28, Vanna Hentz.
So Hantz stepping in. She's 2 for 3 today. Pair of singles, pair of singles, and flew out to the first baseman last inning.
Now, in fairness to Allison Smith, that was a beautiful bunt. It should have gotten a base for one person, should not have gotten a base for both. As that ball is high, brings up a 1-1 count.
There was an opportunity for Garcia to get the out, but she would have had to throw the ball perfectly over to McCoy to back up what you're saying there. Now down to third, dropped by Varela, and I guess she lost her poise there. I'm not sure what she was thinking. Still had a chance to get the out. I'm not sure if she was trying to throw it to first base or the pitcher.
Well, in any case, Hantz safe at first. Smith comes home.
And that takes the lead to 14-6 in the top of the 5th. So I was going to say this after Ramos led off with that triple. But now I think it's further backed up by what you just saw. There was Varela, not really sure. Again, I don't know exactly what they were doing, but from our viewpoint, it looked like Varela really was undecided. This is a very young softball team for Wekiva. They only have 2 or 3 seniors, and I think that's really where you're seeing it come in on both those mistakes. They weren't fielding or tangible mistakes, but they looked like they were mental mistakes. As I mentioned with Varela, It looked like she really was undecided what to do after she picked the ball up in terms of where to throw it. And then Thomas just looked like she was not aware of the situation, not really throwing the ball back to the infield as Bartlinski starts off with strike one on the foul tip. Mark?
Next up, we go to the fifth position of the lineup with center fielder number 17, Gemma Bartlinski.
And yeah, Neil, I saw the same thing you did. I think Varela was frustrated that she struggled to get a clean fielding on the initial hit, and then that just kind of led one motion into the next as the throw was anemic, trying to make the play at first.
Now
Whether you score that as a hit or as an error doesn't really change a whole lot.
And now an 0-2 count on Bartlinski. She's tried twice to lay down the bunt. 14-6 lead, top of the fifth, Freedom. And this one will stay in fair territory, and McCoy tried to tag her to no avail, and so the inning will continue with with no outs. And now runners at first and third.
Bartlinski outruns the bunt to first base, and so we'll have runners at 1 and 2 now. Next at the plate, third baseman number 27, Jalen Marriott.
Excuse me, runners at first and second base. I said third base. And there, I couldn't see it because of our angle. It was blocked, as now the runners will go to second and third. But did the second baseman, Kimber, cover first base? Was that why McCoy tried to make the tag?
Yeah, I think it was just a decision that she thought it was closer and easier to do that than to try to make the play covering first. But
ground ball to the shortstop. Delgado does a nice job of grabbing the ball and chasing the runner back to second. But the run does come in. Not sure. Nope. She was unable to make the tag, so the worst possible situation continues.
Hance comes home to put a run up for the Patriots. Meanwhile, we have runners safe at first and second. And now at the plate will be right fielder number 15, Genesis Estrada.
so yeah, Neil, again, 2 plays in a row where the Mustangs tried to run the runner down instead of making the throw. That might have been more successful if the Mustangs had tried for the 6-4 throw going from Delgado to Kimber, but again, instead of throwing to Kimber, Delgado tried to make the out unassisted and was not able to outrun back to second. It would have scored a run regardless, but it could have at least gotten an out on the board.
Yeah, still nobody out. And to your point, Mark, and to my point, there should be at least 2 outs, if not out of the inning. Certainly, Freedom would have scored a couple runs extending the lead, but you're now looking at a 9-run lead instead of a 7 or maybe an 8, or maybe even keeping it down to 7 as the count 1-1. And now the runner over to third. Another drop ball by Varela. And there's another example of just the inexperience and youth, as I think Bartlinski making the slide into third distracted Varela enough to drop that ball. 1-1 count.
And it should be noted that statistically you cannot get an error for failing to catch a player stealing. The only way you can ever get an error on that type of play is if, because of the dropped ball, they get yet an additional base beyond the one they were trying to steal. So there is a certain indemnity that protects fielders. You can't be charged with an error for failing to catch a runner stealing, even if it is a play that would have been made with ordinary effort. That is an inside ball for a 2-2 count.
And I just received word this has nothing to do with our game or Wekiva Freedom, but it is a Trivial Pursuit, a wild moment. I'll get to that in just a moment. 2-2 count. Make that strike 3, much needed out. The swing, Estrada unable to catch up with the high heat.
Now, I'm looking around to see if there's a shuttle launch. Something was supposed to go up at 7:45, and I don't see anything in the sky.
Getting back to that stat, Kansas.
Next up, after the strikeout recorded, second baseman number 10, Elaine Barnes.
Kansas just beat Minnesota 29-1. That's college baseball, but Kansas hit 5 straight home runs, Mark. ball beaten into the dirt. It's going to be fair, though. Garcia picks it up, nowhere to throw. And runners will now be at every base.
Barnes finds just the right spot on the third baseline to pick up the hit. And that will load up the bases. Next at the plate would be Lily Clark. However, as she is unable to bat today, we will record an out to put 2 away for the Patriots and return to the top of the lineup with first baseman number 00, Kaylin Brash.
And this one is ripped over the shortstop Delgado. She extended but couldn't reach it. Nice job by Florestel to pick it up and now allow a second run to come in, but it will be 16-6.
And the runner at third is called for leaving base early, and so that will be the third out, and that takes us to the middle of the 5th inning. In that half inning, 3 runs scored on 3 hits, with 2 Mustang errors, leaving 2 on base, and the score now stands 15-6 as we head into the middle of the 5th inning.
And so that means it is time for the 5th inning stretch. So we invite you to now join us. Stand up, stretch your legs, and sing with us, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root for the Mustangs. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Back with more from Mustang Field after the break. As we enter the bottom of the 5th inning, the Mustangs will begin in the 6th position in their lineup with left fielder number 12, Kyla Florestil.
Trailing 12-4. Mustangs also begin the inning trailing 12-4.
And I'm going to get that camera angle for it.
15-6.
I'm going to get that camera angle right back for you. Somebody hit the backstop during the break.
And now a 1-0 count. Make that 2-0 to Florestel. Mustang Field, the site, right next to the old State Route 429. Can't ask for a more beautiful evening, night to play baseball. as Florestel takes ball 3. So Wekiva threatening to put the leadoff hitter on as Smith delivers in 4 straight pitches. So, excuse me, it's a 3-1 count. That last pitch was a strike, and there is strike 2. So from 3-0 to a full count for Florestel, who's looking for her first hit of the game. She walked, scored a run in the second, struck out in her last at bat. And there's strike 3. Oh, is that? Yeah, strike 3.
Strikeout recorded by Smith to put 1 away for the Mustangs. Next at the plate for Wekiva, first baseman number 2, Jalea McCoy.
So McCoy steps in. She's looking for her first hit of the game as well, and looks at ball 1. Although she did reach base, she's actually struck out twice. The last at bat in the 3rd inning, though, she reached base because that 3rd strike was dropped. Now a 2-0 count.
Should be noted that Wekiva escaped with 3 on, and that runner was going to come home if she hadn't left early. And that would have put Wekiva under pressure to score here because we could have had a short ball game.
Yeah, the 10-run rule, if you're new to high school softball, it also exists in baseball. 10 runs in the 5th inning and the game is over.
That's in play. Should be a 4-3, and it is. Play is made on the throw from Elaine Barnes to Kaylin Brash for the 4-3 ground out. 2 away now for the Mustangs. Next at the plate for Wekiva, designated player number 34, Leah Destine.
Destine looking for her first hit of the game. A walk and a strikeout. She begins her 3rd plate appearance with strike 1. As Smith continues on the mound, she's gone the distance. See if she can get out of the inning. Nope, that's going to be a foul ball. Our umpire giving
play
the safe
bounces
signal.
foul before it is touched by a fielder, so that will just be strike 2.
No balls. Ten strikeouts for Smith. Four walks. And there's a hit by pitcher. That does not actually count as a walk, as you know, but the 5th time a batter's received a free base, free pass. And remember, it was with the 0-2 count.
Destine advances to first on the hit batsman. Next to the plate, 3rd baseman number 22, Emily Varela.
Varela stepping in, 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts. So Varela not only looking for her first hit, but to put the ball in play. 15-6 to score, strike 1. I mentioned that earlier in the game. Smith has shown about a dozen times he's got some heat. Wekiva batters unable to catch up to the high heat as the count now goes 0-2. And Smith 1 pitch away, 1 strike away from minimizing the hit by hit batsman to nothing, and that's exactly what she does as Varela takes a weak swing.
Smith records a swinging strikeout, and that will take us to the end of the 5th inning. Other than hit batsman, we went 3 up and 3 down otherwise, so no runs scored on no hits with no Patriot errors, leaving 1 on base, and the score stands 15-6 at the end of 5. Back with more from Mustang Field after the break. As we enter the top of the 6th inning, Freedom begins
in the second position in our lineup with shortstop number 8, Camila Ramos.
Start with a ball.
So the good news is Garcia delivers, and this is going to be a tough out. Nope. Never mind. Delgado making it look easy, snagging that ball.
Delgado on the line out, one away for the Patriots. Next at the plate will be pitcher number 11. Excuse me. We started at the first position of the lineup with Brash, and now batting is shortstop number 8, Camila Ramos.
So,
All right, we are back. Apologies for the brief disruption. We had a malfunction with the computer. And so we are back now with Smith at the plate. Chops that one away. That's out of play.
reset our game. It's 15-6. Freedom in the lead. They've led throughout. Their first batter, Brash, reached base on an error, and to use the old cliche, they have not looked back. They scored 4 runs in the first, 4 in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and 3 in the fifth. We are now in the top of the 6th, a 2-2 count. Make that 3-2 on Smith with a runner at first and 1 out. And right before we left, I started to say, and I'll finish my thought, as Garcia, the Wekiva pitcher, delivers, and that'll be ball 4. It's up high. Smith wanted nothing to do with that. So the good news for Wekiva is the game is going into the 6th inning. The 10-run rule is not into effect with that 15-6 score. The bad news is they still have 1 more inning, Freedom that is, to put the 10-run rule into effect.
Smith walks to first. Next at the plate, catcher number 28, Havana Hats.
And she swings at that first pitch and finds the hole, spanking it just to the right, left of second base if you're looking in from the outfield. And now the bases are loaded with only 1 out.
Single to center field on the grounder. We'll put a hit on the board for Hance and will load the bases for center fielder number 17, Gemma Bartlinski.
Bartlinski 2 for 4 tonight. Reached base 3 times, a pair of singles, a strikeout, and reached on an error in her last at-bat. She steps in, sets, and looks at ball 1 from Garcia. Low. So certainly we could see an offensive eruption again from Freedom.
Yeah, also worth noting is that while the Mustangs do get the guaranteed out in the 9th position of the lineup with Lily Clark, we're only at the 5th position of the lineup now, so 3 more batters have to come up before the Mustangs get a free out.
Yeah, and to my point, Mark, only 1 out, so definitely all the cards stacked in Freedom's favor as the count now goes 3-1. Of course, with that 3-1 count, the obvious is a walk, and that would force in a run, but you can get a run in with an out.
It's just 2-1, Neil.
Oh, excuse me, 2-1. And she won't need that third ball. Hits it hard to Delgado, who takes the out at third.
No,
and
she doesn't.
Nope, the ball was dropped. It would score a run either way, but that'll continue the inning with just 1 out in 16-6.
Ramos comes home, and that is a legitimate RBI for Bartlinski despite the error. Bases remain loaded. Next at the plate, third baseman number 27, Jalen Merricks.
So Merrick steps in. And first pitch swinging, hacks that ball foul, 0-1 count. Merrick's yet to get a hit tonight, 0 for 4. She does reach base twice. A drop third strike in the 4th, and then reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th. Freedom looking for its first win of the season. They come in 0-10, certainly have positioned themselves to notch it. As a 2-0 count, or 1-1 count now, as we are at night here at Mustang Field. Remains a beautiful night, not a cloud in the sky with the sun up or the sun down and the moon out. Speaking of the moon, as the count goes 2-1, Mark, straight ahead of us, it's full.
Yes.
And not with no clouds in the sky, you can clearly see it. Certainly be a perfect setting for Georgia O'Keefe, and perfect setting for Freedom as that ball's golfed right over second base. Kimber and Delgado unable to get to that ball. 17-6, give the RBI to Mariax.
Mariax picks up a single RBI. That will send home Allison Smith. And next at the plate will be right fielder number 15, Genesis Estrada.
So bases remain loaded, still just one out on the board.
Yeah, and now we're getting into the might be too much for Wekiva to overcome territory as far as that 10-run rule. As you mentioned, Mark, 10 runs.
In the fifth inning or later.
You're still guaranteed, the home team guaranteed that last at bat, but now you're starting to put runs on above the 10 runs. As the count now 1-1 on Estrada. Estrada 0 for 3. She did reach base on a walk in the third, scored a run as well. Every batter in the Freedom lineup, as the count now goes 2-1, has reached base at least once, with the exception of Clark. If you joined us late, Clark unable to bat due to a shoulder injury, so her slot is automatically given an out. As the count now 2-2. Not every batter has gotten a hit though, which is somewhat surprising given the 17 runs put up by Freedom. Garcia delivers, that ball sliced into foul territory, and McCoy giving chase. But the ball falls harmlessly to the ground from the Freedom perspective. Garcia delivers the 2-2. Ball yanked foul behind to the side of home plate. And everybody back to your assigned positions. Count remains 2-2. Temperature now dropping below 70.
So this is not going to be a perfect count because as Neil and I have been resolving technical issues, we have not always been perfect at pushing the buttons on the scoreboard control, but it should be approximately right. Garcia is so far the only pitcher of record for the Mustangs. Likewise, Smith the only pitcher of record for Freedom. And look at Garcia right now looking at 63 balls, 46 strikes plus 4 fouls, so call it 50 strikes and another 8 in play, so that's 58. So 63 and 58. Meanwhile, Smith on the other side is 43 balls, 44 strikes, 4 fouls, and 1 in play. So, well, it's got to be more than that in play. Let's say at least, let's see, they've got 14 hits, so that's got to be at least 14 in play.
Yeah, and Estrada took that foul ball right off her left shin.
So that makes it 43 and 62 for Smith, give or take.
Okay. In the meantime, we have a stoppage. The ball going off, that foul ball going off of Estrada's left shin.
Looked like it was frozen.
2-2 count, 17-6 lead for Freedom. 14 hits for Freedom. And after a few minutes of letting the pain work its way through, run its course, They're ready to play again as Estrada shakes it off. She gets a hand from the 50 or so fans.
Well, and I should note that if they're taking it out for Lily Clark instead of using a DP, that means they don't have they don't have a bench. So they do not have an option if they were to have a player go out for an injury.
This straight foul ball hit by Estrada. Certainly Estrada could use the practice. Off to a rough start this season, 167 coming into this game. And that's the end of the bat, unable to catch up with that ball on the outside. That'll be the second out of the inning. Much needed for Wekiva.
Garcia records a swinging strikeout, but 2 away for the Patriots. Next to the plate, second baseman number 10, Elaine Barnes.
So this is going to be the last batter, no matter what, because we know that Clark will record an out, and that we now have 2 outs on the scoreboard. So
the last batter of the top of the 6.
Correct. One way or the other, either Barnes will get out or Clark will.
Yes, Barnes.
So one more opportunity to score, the 3 runners who are remaining on base.
1 for 3 for Barnes. She reached base on an infield single. Now a 1-1 count. 1-0 count, excuse me. Garcia continues. She's gone the distance.
That's in play.
The Mustangs make the force out, and so that will take us to the middle of the 6th inning. And that half inning, 2 runs scored on 2 hits, with no Mustang errors, leaving 3 on base. And the score now 17-6 at the end of 5.5 innings.
Back with more from Mustang Field after the break.
As we enter the bottom of the 6th inning, the Mustangs begin at the top of their lineup with number 5, the shortstop, Camila Delgado.
And she will start with a strike. So, Neil, again, a case of good news and bad news. The good news, let's start with the bad news. So the bad news is Wekiva is now under the gun. They must score a minimum of 2 runs in this half inning in order to keep the game alive. Now, they have done that in the 3rd and the 4th inning, so it's not that it can't be done. And also, another bit of good news is that if they do manage to extend the game, Freedom will start the top of the 7th inning with an out because Clark is due up and she is injured and unable to bat, and they have no substitutes available for her. So Wekiva would only have to get 2 outs against Freedom in the top of the 7th. But first they have to earn the right to play the top of the 7th.
Now, I'd also point out, too, the good news, if you are in the position that Wekiva is facing that 10-run rule, Delgado's the batter you want. She is 3 for 3 today, 10 total bases, a pair of home runs, and a double. She's now looking at that full count from Smith. It's gone the distance, and she pops that into foul territory. So everybody back to your assigned positions.
Yep, that's smart there. That wasn't a great pitch to swing at, but it also wasn't terrible enough to take the risk of getting a backwards K. So you do the smart thing there, bat it foul, live to fight into another pitch. Well, that one was right, just in the right place. The swing was late. And Smith records a swinging strikeout to put one away for the Mustangs. Next to the plate for Wekiva, second baseman number 1, Alicia Kimber.
12 strikeouts now for Smith. Not only has she gone the distance, but she has certainly kept Wekiva at bay. Certainly played a game of, as that ball is hit into the outfield, just be eluding Ramos. So some hope remaining for Wekiva as Kimber reaches first base with 1 out.
Kimber is safe at first on the single.
Is that 7 hits for us now?
Next to the plate for Wekiva will be pitcher. No, excuse me. Delgado remains at first.
Nope, never mind. Hold on. I'm getting a hand wave from the umpire here, telling me they're trying to figure it out. So that
Okay,
we'll wait for them to
meantime-
figure it out. We're gonna wait and see. So as it stands right now, Delgado is standing on first base. Kimber is standing at the plate. It looked to me.
I think we both thought that that was a single for Kimber.
Looked like a single from here, but okay. So I'm only relaying what I could overhear from the conference. Something about batting out of order.
So the end result, though,
So that wasn't Kimber at the plate a minute ago. Now it is Kimber at the plate. So that means the Mustangs are going to get charged with an out for that.
Okay, and Delgado was at first base. She just stole second. As Mark said, Kimber at first base. And as we get now 1 out away, what I started to say is you look at the stat lines for Smith, nothing spectacular, nothing to write home about, but she's done an extremely good job of playing situational pitching. She's given up 7 hits, 5 walks, but she's also struck out 12 batters as Delgado takes third without a throw. Big thing
chin
is
music there.
6 runs. In some games that might be a lot to give up, but she's managed to manage the game very well in terms of keeping her team in the lead, getting the outs when she needed to in order to prevent Wekiva's account now 3-1, in order to prevent Wekiva from really mounting any kind of big inning. Ooh, full count now, 2 outs, 17-6 lead, so Delgado will probably be on the move from third base. Kimber with the chance to keep the game going. Smith the chance to put the game out, and that's what she does. Strike 3. And, well, actually that is not the third out.
Okay, so maybe I didn't overhear the whole conversation. So whatever it was, the reason that the original hit didn't count was because something happened out of order, but it was apparently not an out. But now there are 2 outs.
Yeah, and that strikeout is the 13th of the game for Smith as she continues to rack up the strikes. 0-1 count now on Garcia, the pitcher. She's gone the distance, 1 for 2 today, a double, RBI in her last at bat and a walk. Now looking at a 1-1 count.
Now at the plate for the Mustangs, pitcher number 21, Ariana Garcia.
So we still have a runner at third, and now it really is 2 outs on the board. I'm fairly confident of that now. Swing and a miss.
Now we'll take it to 1-2. Can Smith get her 14th strikeout? Will Garcia keep the game going? Again, the core, the magic of Smith's performance is situational play, and there you see it. Well, it would have been an out, as Mariax did make the throw to first, but not in time.
You going to count that as a single or an E6?
That's an error.
All right.
So it cuts
Garcia advances to first, and that will score Camila Delgado. Coming in as a courtesy runner at first base for Garcia is number 3, Korea Tyler. And now at the plate is center fielder number 32, Taquisha Thomas.
And Thomas steps into the batter's box, 1 for 3 tonight, a triple in the first inning. As the first pitch is ball 1. And going back, even though Garcia did reach base, to my point about Smith doing a good job of situational pitching, that should have been the third out. She did what she needed to do when she needed to do it, giving her team an opportunity to get that third out and prevent the run from coming in. Still 17-7. So now Wekiva does have an opportunity to extend this game into the 7th inning. They do need Thomas to get a hit, get on base. And that certainly is not going to help as she was fooled on that pitch. 1-2, and once again, Smith on the verge of getting that 14th strikeout and closing the game. Situational pitching, doing what she has to do with that pitching with a 10-run lead. 1-2 count on Thomas as she steps back into the batter's box. Sign, the delivery from Smith, and there's strike 3, and that'll close out the game. Freedom getting its first win of the season, scoring 4 runs, 4 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs, 3 runs, 2 runs, respectively. Wekiva falls to 1-6. They'll have to go back to the drawing board. Mark, take us to the finish line.
That takes us to the end of the ball game with a 10-run scoring differential. We will stop at the end of 6 as the Mustangs score 1 run on 1 hit with no Patriot errors and leave 1 on base in that final half inning. We'd like to thank everyone for coming out to support your Mustang and Patriot athletes. 14 strikeouts in total for Allison Smith tonight, and we hope that you will join us again. The Mustangs, your next chance to see Wekiva at home is actually going to be tomorrow, but it will be baseball, not softball, so that we hope that you will join us for that. Meanwhile, if you'd like to follow the ladies, of course, we've got spring break coming up. But when we get back from the break, your next chance to catch them is going to be at home. They'll be hosting the Lake Buena Vista Vipers on March 26th at 6 p.m. For those of you here in the ballpark, please drive carefully and arrive home safely. Those of you watching online, thanks so much for making a part of your Wednesday evening with us. And we look forward to seeing you again. Until next time, good night from Mustang Field.